The film opens with the sunny landscape of Los Angeles, its Hollywood Hills beckoning, suggesting an atmosphere universally appealing. Men, empathetic and swift to aid loved ones, mingle amidst scenes of care with friends, while women are seen nurturing their children. It sets the stage for a fresh start, doesn't it? Our main character arrives at the doorstep of the Asilo del Mar residential complex in search of new accommodation. Automatically, closed doors glide open, catching her eye on a camera fixed at the entrance. There, she encounters a handsome gentleman who assures her that the camera, installed after a break-in some years back, is now a mere relic of the past. As they make their way to the apartments, our protagonist's intervention saves an eccentric elderly lady, Miss Stanhope, from an accidental fall into the pool. Surrounded by a throng of prospective renters, she briefly contemplates leaving, but the manager's advice to explore further prompts her to stay. Despite noticing a few imperfections, including a slightly crooked wall, she remains undeterred, considering them insignificant in choosing her future abode. Sarah, our protagonist, completes a tenant application, affirming her lack of pets, a prerequisite for moving in. That evening, she finds herself at the Palm Tree Inn Motel, accompanied by Giles, a ginger cat, reluctantly engaging in a phone call with her father. Their conversation, filled with admonishments for her impulsive departure and doubts about her prospects, ends abruptly as Sarah decides to terminate it. Taking up a job as a legal assistant while nurturing aspirations of becoming a designer, she resolves to enroll in courses. As the rental advertisement for the apartment is removed, it is granted to Sarah. She clandestinely brings Giles, her feline companion, into her new home, aware of the no-pet policy. To her surprise, the handsome neighbor she met earlier happens to reside on the same floor. Brian extends an invitation to a barbecue, which soon morphs into a lively housewarming party. Edith strolls arm in arm with her rescuer, introducing her to the esteemed lawyer Oliver and Dr. Esther. Meanwhile, the manager, Jerry, tends to grilling meat for his friends, while his wife, Janice, offers assistance to the newcomer. Sarah observes the harmonious camaraderie among all the complex residents. A peculiar man, sporting taped glasses, approaches Sarah and offers to lend her a book that, he claims, changed his life. Uncomfortable, she politely declines his offer. Brian reveals that he played a role in Sarah's selection, having spoken highly of her to Jerry. Using the excuse of unpacking, Sarah bids farewell to Brian and offers to accompany Miss Stanhope to her apartment. During their interaction, Sarah discovers that Edith, a former actress, downplays her past successes and now finds greater contentment. The absence of pills and strange noises in the walls of the apartment keeps Sarah awake until the early morning. Brian notices her difficulty in handling a large mattress alone and lends a hand in bringing it to her door. However, Sarah hesitates to let her friendly neighbor inside, intent on keeping her fluffy secret concealed.
Giles, you are really messing with my love life.
On the second night, Sarah resorts to earplugs, yet she can't shake the eerie sensation of someone else's presence in the house. Indeed, the front door stands ajar, prompting her to hasten its closure. Peering through the peephole, she glimpses Edith hastily navigating the premises in the dead of night. Sarah escorts the woman back to her room and assists her with medication, noticing the same book that the enigmatic Lester had offered to lend. Miss Stanhope unveils the poignant tale of Lester, who recently suffered the loss of his wife to cancer. Morning brings a note, laden with personal insults and accusing Sarah of harboring the cat. Determined to confront the culprit, Sarah ventures into the hallway, only to encounter amicable neighbors and a somber Lester, who vanishes from sight moments later. Just then, Brian emerges from his room and extends an invitation to dinner, which Sarah promises to consider before heading to work. At the office, Sarah strikes up a friendship with Lisa, a spirited colleague unafraid to challenge authority, even the boss. Inviting Lisa over, they encounter a neighbor en route, exchanging bashful smiles. Sarah apologizes for forgetting their plans, yet the neighbor insists on at least sharing dessert. As Giles indulges in the leftovers, Sarah airs her grievances, from the uncomfortable living situation to the contentious neighbor's disdain for her cat. Tempted to retreat to her father's home, Sarah admits defeat. However, Lisa encourages her to reclaim control of her life and pursue her true desires, proposing they find a new place together. Recalling her mantra for stressful situations, Sarah asserts, "It's her damn life." The third night brings an unexpected tranquility, allowing Sarah much-needed rest. Yet, the acrid scent of burning flesh jolts her awake, compelling her to investigate the kitchen. There, she discovers her cat in the oven and attempts to scream in horror, only to have her mouth covered by an unseen assailant. Though Sarah initially suspects Lester, the revelation that greets her when the lights flicker on presents an entirely different neighbor before her. Brian restrains Sarah to a chair and administers a mysterious substance via syringe, ignoring her pleas as she struggles to break free. Desperate, she flees into the hallway, seeking assistance from Esther, only to discover she's complicit in the scheme, as are all the tenants of the complex. Subdued by Brian's stun gun, Sarah is forcibly returned to her apartment, bewildered by the lack of aid from her neighbors. Regaining consciousness in her desolate room, Sarah finds boarded-up windows and a glaring spotlight overhead. Clad in patient attire, she attempts to summon help, only to find her movements impaired. Two men enter, elucidating her predicament. They have severed all ties with the outside world, ensuring no rescue attempts will be made. Jerry illustrates the consequences of defiance using Lester as an example, revealing the injuries he sustained for his rebellion. Faced with a dire choice, Sarah acquiesces and adopts a taxing stance against the wall. The source of her apartment's anomalies becomes apparent, illuminated by a nearby red lamp dictating the duration of her uncomfortable posture. Under the watchful eye of the camera, Sarah is reminded that her every move is monitored. Jerry remains assured that gratitude will eventually replace defiance.
My fucking life.
In the chamber, blaring music assaults Sarah's senses as her body trembles, succumbing to exhaustion as the light bulb flickers out, plunging her into darkness. Collapsing to the floor, she finds herself drained. A protein shake is shoved through the door slot, intended to replenish her strength and perpetuate the relentless cycle of repetitive motions. Jerry, recognizing Sarah's need for companionship in this harrowing ordeal, introduces Edith into the chamber. Despite Sarah's attempts to convey the insanity of their situation, Edith perceives it differently. To her, madness lies in flouting societal norms, neglecting neighbors, succumbing to substance abuse, and forsaking familial ties for selfish desires. Jerry's methods, she contends, are rooted in science, offering a path to normalization. Drawing from her own experience, she assures Sarah that enduring the chamber is a shared rite of passage. If she persevered, so too can Sarah. Overwhelmed, Sarah bows her head in defeat. An alarm jolts her back to awareness, prompting her to resume her designated position, Edith's words reverberating in her mind.
The sooner you give up, the sooner you'll be free.
Despite the light bulb illuminating the chamber, Sarah collapses, utterly powerless. Desperately pleading with Jerry and Brian to end her torment, she's met with the chilling suggestion of a gun as the only means of cessation. Rejecting such a grim option, Sarah obediently turns to face the wall. Unable to stand unaided, Brian retrieves a nail and hammer from his briefcase, deftly securing both of Sarah's hands to the wall. With cruel efficiency, he exits the room alongside Jerry, leaving Sarah trapped in her anguish. Amidst the turmoil of her thoughts, Sarah discerns her father's voice, urging her to escape and assuring her of his unwavering belief in her. As the wooden shutters on the windows shatter and sunlight floods the chamber, her father instructs her to flee. Motivated by her parents' encouragement, Sarah deliberately tears her left palm, severs tendons, and wrenches her right hand free. Disoriented, she gazes around the chamber, only to find nothing has changed before succumbing to unconsciousness. Upon awakening, Sarah instinctively assumes her starting position, only to be interrupted by Jerry. With a smile of triumph, he embraces Sarah, who, in a daze, reciprocates his embrace. The community's women rally around Sarah, tending to her with care, smoothing her hair and attending to her hands. Esther commends Brian for his skillful handiwork in driving the nail, ensuring minimal damage to tendons and muscles. Revealing her own hand scars, Esther reassures Sarah that healing will come in time. Basking in the warmth of sunlight and the melody of birdsong outside, Sarah finds herself subjected to a lie detector test by Jerry and his associate. Delving into deeply personal inquiries, they stress the importance of honesty, a cornerstone of the community's principles. Immersing herself in the same book shared by all residents, Sarah engages in thought-provoking discussions with Jerry about societal self-centeredness. His vision for the community is one of strength and influence, with aspirations to heal the world. Observing Jerry's act of releasing a resident beyond the compound's boundaries, Sarah is struck by the manager's reminder that true change requires daring to venture beyond comfort zones. Completing Professor Charles D. Ellerby's book, Sarah identifies the key pillars of society: selflessness, openness, acceptance, and safety. When asked if she wishes to join the community, Sarah initially responds affirmatively, but the polygraph detects falsehood. Tearfully, she admits her earnest desire to embrace their ideals, tempered by her lingering hesitations. Guided by Janice, Sarah participates in communal activities, passing through Lester's class where he imparts wisdom to children, integrating the professor's teachings on combating human selfishness. Lester elucidates the process: acknowledgement of wrongdoing, acceptance of consequences, and reformation towards communal benefit. As Sarah wrestles with inner turmoil during the lecture, Lester subtly dissuades her from rash action, a silent reminder of the community's guiding principles. During a conversation, Sarah discovers that each member of the community has a designated role. To ascertain hers, she's assigned expanded responsibilities. Led into the surveillance room, Sarah observes the intricate network of monitors capturing every activity, even private moments in the bathroom. Realizing they're also under scrutiny, she questions the ethics, only to be urged by Brian to refrain from meddling. Spotting Edith's distress on one screen, Sarah requests medical assistance, earning praise from Jerry for her vigilance, a cornerstone of their community. Sarah confronts new challenges and emotions as Edith, her friend, is sedated for no longer contributing to the community. Yet, Edith accepts her departure from life with serenity, bidding farewell to loved ones. Brian shares his own transformation, recounting how the community rescued him post-Iraq. Initially viewing it as hell, he eventually embraced it wholeheartedly. Moved, Sarah agrees to join. With jubilant cheers and warm embraces, she is branded and welcomed into the fold, with Janice even baking a celebratory cake. Jerry finally hears the gratitude he sought from his new charge. Now, it's time to assign Sarah her role. Jerry arranges a marriage between Sarah and the devoted but solitary Lester, tasking her with the duties of a good wife and future mother. Lester guides her to his apartment, informing her that her previous abode is no longer hers. Their conversation is abruptly halted by Jerry, who demands Sarah's father be expelled for the community's safety. In a fraught encounter, her father implores her to return home, offering heartfelt apologies. Sarah, though conflicted, rebuffs him, only to succumb to emotions and embrace him. Witnessing Brian armed and approaching her father, Sarah acts swiftly, pushing her dad out of harm's way and rebuffing his apologies. In a moment of rage, she's met with a slap, retorting that their next encounter will be at his funeral. Sarah returns to Lester's room and notices that he has set up a designated area for her hobby. Expressing gratitude, she takes a seat beside him. Lester then recounts how his ex-wife, Jessica, played a pivotal role in helping him come to terms with the new rules of life and find happiness. Holding hands, they share a moment of silent understanding. Meanwhile, within the residential complex, a notice advertising apartment rentals reappears. Sarah spots her friend Lisa's name on the screen. Lisa, an independent woman, is handed the keys to Sarah's former apartment. During a conversation with Brian, Sarah expresses concern that her eccentric friend seems to have returned to her dependence on others. Jerry suggests to Sarah that they intervene to assist Lisa, who bears a resemblance to Edith, believing their connection will aid the newcomer in overcoming challenges. Despite Sarah's doubts about their chances of success due to Lisa's strength, Jerry remains confident in their ability to help her. In a tense confrontation in the torture room, Lisa bites Brian's ear, leading to a heated argument between her and Sarah. Despite Sarah's attempts to offer friendly advice, emotions flare, and Lisa successfully provokes her old acquaintance. As Sarah hesitates, Jerry intervenes, calming Lisa with a single blow and enlisting Sarah's help in administering punishment for Lisa's rebellion. However, Jerry's attempt to inflict harm backfires, resulting in his demise. Appealing to Sarah's rationality, Lisa prompts her to take action, leading Sarah to fatally stab Jerry and free Lisa. Seizing a hammer, Sarah attempts to flee, but Lisa is shot in the head. Overwhelmed by pain and determination, Sarah retaliates by stabbing Jerry with a screwdriver and seizing both the weapon and the entry door remote. Observing the scars on Jerry's arms and the mark behind his ear, Sarah realizes he's not the true leader of their community. Sarah recognizes that she alone harbors the desire to escape their oppressive environment. In a bid to clear her path, she shoots Brian, who persists in trying to reason with her. Lawyer Oliver attempts to stop her at the exit, only to be shot by Lester, who then pushes his newlywed wife out onto the street. Sacrificing himself, Lester holds back the enraged crowd, sealing the entrance door, possibly for good. The girl runs down the night street and at some point realizes that there's no chase after her. She exhales, but only for a moment. The siren deafens the entire street and evokes hysterical laughter from the heroine. Sarah gathers her last bit of strength and hopes that she'll escape from this madhouse. What would you do if you were in Sarah's place? Share your thoughts in the comments below, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.